Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 112 of the Ebb and Glow podcast. I'm your host, Jenelle Tremblett, and today's episode is a solo one with me. So today's episode is a short little pep talk for everyone before the holidays. The holiday and Christmas season can be pretty stressful when it shouldn't be. The holiday season, in my opinion, is meant to be a time of rest, a time of quality time with friends and family, and a time of celebration for all the beautiful things that have happened in the past year, and as a way to celebrate and commemorate the end of another year. However, that being said, I know even for me, I think back to past holidays and Christmas seasons, there's definitely been a lot of underlying stress for me. And I want to chat through some of those situations for me as a way to maybe you've experienced the same kinds of things. And like I said, the title of this podcast episode is more of a pep talk. And looking back, if I had the wisdom that I have now, this is kind of the advice that I would have given myself back then. And keep in mind, a lot of these solo episodes are really just a verbal diary for myself and hoping that you'll resonate somewhat with some of it. And me wanting to do a solo episode about a pep talk for the holidays, it's probably because I need a quick pep talk before I head into the holidays. If you're like me and live in a different city than where you grew up, and so when you go home for the holidays, you're going home, you're flying back to somewhere. For me, I go home twice a year. So a lot of the stress for me going home is about seeing people I only see once or twice a year. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of, I don't want to say expectations, but it's a lot of give me the update on your life. And it almost seems like people are measuring my success every time I come home. Keep in mind, anytime I have a solo episode, there's a lot of projections. There's a lot of just my underlying internal thoughts. It doesn't necessarily need to be facts, but it's just how I'm feeling. And if you're feeling the same way, then maybe someone else like myself feeling the same way as you do can validate your feelings. I think back to, keep in mind, I left home at 18. And so I've been going home for Christmas for the past 11 years. And I remember being back in university. I feel like the pressure during university going home was a lot more than it is now. I remember there's a couple of instances when I went home after university and the talk always was weight gain and whether I was too skinny or I was too fat. Every year there was something. It was always comments about my weight. There was never questions about, how are you doing in school? Are you liking the program you chose? Are you liking living in Halifax? Kind of is everything okay? Because in first and second, and maybe even third year of university, overall, I had a good university experience, but there was a lot of down times in my life during university, I would say. I just never really spoke about them. So coming home after being away for the first couple of years of my life ever, and the only question or concern ever was about how I looked, I can guarantee you that has added so much underlying self-worth issues since then. And I won't go deeper into it in this episode, but what I want to say about that is if you're from a small town or even any town, I find family tends to make a lot of comments on appearance, especially for women and even men. But it's the first thing, it's never you look happy or are you okay? It's you look like you've gained weight or you look like you've lost a lot of weight. That's the only ever things people ever talk about. And for me, it always really bothered me. So looking back, what advice would I give myself if I was going in expecting those types of comments? I would say if you're going into the holiday season wondering or worried about how people are going to comment on your appearance, I would say before you go into that holiday experience and into those holiday evenings with family and friends and get-togethers, what I would recommend is get very clear on your self-worth. You may have to do a lot of affirmations before you go into an event. You may have to really work on picking an outfit that you feel extremely comfortable and confident in. Because for me, I can see a woman or a man way bigger than, say, someone else, but because they have this internal glow and this internal confidence, they look a lot more happy than, say, someone that's multiple sizes smaller than them. So I would focus on your inner appearance, because if you feel good and confident about yourself, no matter what the situation is, if you work on how you feel inside, I can guarantee that's going to exude on the outside. And on that topic, in terms of clothes and outfits, just make sure that you're wearing an outfit that's comfortable. You don't want to be sitting at Christmas dinner wearing the tightest dress you would ever wear and you would wear to like a club. That's not going to be comfortable. Wear what you feel comfortable in. And then ultimately your mood and your demeanor will match how comfortable and how happy you are. I could go into this situation a lot more, but I really just want to kind of point on a couple main topics and kind of just give you a little bit of a situation. I don't want to get into it too much, but yeah. So overall, if you are going home and you're kind of stressed about the comments on looks and weight and appearance and all that crap, because trust me, like I said, I've been there, and as a woman, I'm still there. It doesn't matter what the hell I look like. There's going to be comments about it. Just do what feels good for you. And people, I think overall, people will sense the confidence and happiness from you, and maybe there'll be less comments. A number 2 big stressor for me going into the holiday season is expectations around social situations. So when I go home, and my mom listens to my podcast, so I know she's going to hear this, but I know I've talked to her about this a lot. My mom tends to do this thing, and I've coined it and I've named it as the pony show. And maybe it's because I'm an only child and a daughter, I mean, my mom loves me. She's very proud. But I find when I go home, she has this like whole planned itinerary of everyone that she wants me to visit and wants me to see. And she has people coming to the house to come see me. And I guess it's because I only come home twice a year. So she wants me to make an appearance for everyone that she wants me to make an appearance for. And I find that she doesn't ever think about any of the stuff that I want to do. Like, there's people that I want to see. There's things I want to do. And there's also times during the time I'm going to be home where I need some downtime, where I want to sit down away from everyone and just relax, because ultimately Christmas vacation for me is a time of relaxing. I get that there's going to be a lot of social outings and a lot of people that you want to see and spend time with, but sometimes I know for me, it's a little too much. So I've already kind of like made that warning to my family, where I said, no pony show this Christmas. And for me, it's time is the only thing that we can't get back. And going into the new year, especially, I want to be extremely mindful of the people that I'm spending time with, because like I said, we don't get that time back. So knowing when I'm going home, I only have, say, 10 days, kind of 8 with 2 days of travel, 8 days to really spend with people. I kind of want to be really choosy and intentional about who I spend that time with. So let's put it back to you, the listener. If you are the type of person that kind of gets kind of a bit of a people-pleasing tendency and everyone's making plans and you're just showing up, but you're exhausted and you don't want to, I always say to people, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. So if you're kind of humming and hawing that you might not really want to go to an event, or you don't really want to like spend time with this group of people, then don't. It sounds really simple when I say it like that, but you don't have to, because what's worse, you not going or you showing up and being in a bad mood or bad attitude or just bad energy because you don't want to be there. It will bring down the mood of the entire evening and the entire event or the entire get together. So I would say if you're like me and you feel a little bit of pressure to kind of make an appearance at many, many, many things, even though you don't want to, I think give yourself the confidence to say, nope, I don't want to do this one. Keep in mind, you don't even need to give a reason, but if you feel like you have to, just say, hey, my social battery is absolutely full for this week. If anything changes, I will let you know. But right now I can't prioritize this one. And I've been doing that, I don't know, my whole life. But especially around the holidays, I feel that I had to do a lot of things that I don't want to. So going into this holiday season, I want to be a little bit more mindful and intentional about who I spend my time with. and giving myself the gift of downtime as well, because I deserve it. The other big stressor in my life going into the holiday season is around money and gifts. I don't enjoy giving or getting gifts. If you're familiar with love languages at all, gifts for me is 0. If you've ever done the test, gifts for me is on the absolute bottom and the score literally says 0. I've never enjoyed giving them. I've never enjoyed getting them. I mean, it's fun. Of course, someone getting you a gift is fun, but I get more dopamine and happiness when I buy it for myself. So obviously the holiday season is all about gifts. And I want to have this part of the pep talk, 2-pronged approach. One is around money and kind of the classic keeping up with the Joneses. You do not need to spend money you don't have. And as I'm saying this, I am guilty as hell. I'm going home and then I'm going on another trip afterwards. I'm buying a bunch of stuff to get ready to go home. I'm booking nail appointments. I'm booking like all of my appointments today. Like even as I record this podcast, I'm heading out to a bunch of appointments and I am dropping money. I also need to buy a new computer. And like I said, I'm going on another trip right after Christmas. Like it's insane. And for me, I'm giving this pep talk for you right now, but I really need to take my own advice. I'm currently spending way outside my means right now, and I don't love it. I don't love the feeling of it at all. So I want to give you the advice that you don't have to if you don't want to. For me personally, the stuff I'm spending a lot of money on right now, I actually kind of have to do it. I want to go on this trip, so there is a lot of expenses for that. I just naturally had to buy a new computer. I had a lot of real estate licensing fees to pay this month. It's been a very expensive month and we're not even halfway through the month yet. But I want to take a step back where I think a lot of people feel obligated to buy gifts and buy extravagant gifts, even though they don't have it within their budget. You don't have to. You can spend quality time with someone without having to spend $50 to $100 every person you see. I had this conversation with my mom recently and she was asking me, oh, these people are going to be dropping by, so why don't you just pick them up a little something? Why? Why do I have to do that? For me, there's more value in me being present in that moment and making memories with them, having a nice glass of wine, having a good conversation with them. For me showing up with a gift, like it doesn't add value to that, especially for someone I don't even keep in touch with throughout the year. But me and my mom see that very different, where my mom is like, oh, but it's just nice to do. And I'm like, I don't subscribe to that. And that's a phrase I encourage you to add to your vocabulary. I don't subscribe to that. Just because that's someone else's way of doing things where they feel obligated or they feel like it's nice to do, to have a gift for every single person they see this year, you don't have to do that. You can show love and appreciation in so many different ways that do not include spending a ton of money. And keep in mind, the only person that has to deal with the credit card bills after Christmas is you. If you personally don't have the budget to be giving all these big gifts to everyone and giving and giving and giving, you don't have to. There are so many other ways to give without actually spending money. For me, there was one thing that I've been doing this holiday season is I did a bunch of baking. So any person I've seen before I leave, I'm giving them cookies. And I spend a lot of time and of course money putting together these cookies, but I feel like it's just something different where I can do a huge batch and have kind of little gifts for anyone I see for the next couple of weeks. And for me, like I obviously give love in different ways, but for me, like that shows a lot of appreciation for me to give time and value. And that time I could have used a lot differently. I spent the time baking and willing to give. So it's like, for me, that means a lot coming from me, more than say me getting them a gift card or me getting them a candle or just like another gift. I want you to try on the idea that you don't have to give a gift to everyone. And if you do, it doesn't have to be this huge monetary value. Don't put yourself in a position where you're very stressed out starting the new year in terms of you owe a ton of money that you don't have, and you're already starting the new year stressed and frustrated and concerned about money. And like, I don't think that's a really good way to start the new year. So all to say, if you're stressed about keeping up with the Joneses and giving and giving and spending and spending and spending, you don't have to. The other stressor that I want to talk about around the holidays is this one isn't a huge one for me, but I know it is for a lot of people. And it is the issue of trying to make everyone think that you have it all together. You don't have to. The people in your life that love you, friends, families, even coworkers, anyone, they're not expecting you to have the most aesthetically perfect life during the holidays. What you see on social media is 10% of what's actually real. And never forget that. Stop making everyone else's life have meaning on your own. Just because someone has a really cute spread of a meal, or just because someone's posting photos of a big friend group and you're not, that doesn't mean anything about you. My advice on this one is do what you can and do it with the love that's in you. Stop worrying about doing everything and all of it for every single person. Do what you can. Do not put yourself in a position where you're exhausted and then you're stressed and then you're reacting and then you're triggered because no one's appreciating all that you do. People aren't asking you to do all of this, so you don't have to. This is your holiday as well. If you're the person in your family listening to this that does everything for everyone and basically the Christmas season would not happen without you, why don't you take a step back and either delegate some of those things or not do as much and see if anyone even notices. I can guarantee you they won't. Like I said, this is your holiday as well. You deserve rest and relaxation. So just try on the idea that you don't need to do it all. And all of the stuff that you do does not have to have this picture perfect aesthetic either. Keep in mind, a lot of the people that you're looking at on social media do this for a job. Their job is content creation. So while your job is a nurse or a salesperson or whatever you do for work, a 9-to-5 marketer, their job is literally creating content and creating this idea of an aesthetically pleasing holiday as a way to inspire you to maybe try this cookie recipe or try this product, or here's how I decorate my tree as some inspiration. If you don't have all of that, if you're not doing any of that, who cares? Your house and your life does not need to look just like theirs. Think of social media and think of the influencer world as the old school magazines, where sure, you're flipping through a magazine of a beautiful home, but I feel like back then we had the logic to think like, okay, this is a home in a magazine. Like, of course, I don't have that type of home. Who cares? But now, because social media is right in our face at all times and we're addicted to our phones, I feel like we feel that because that person is an everyday person that lives in our city, that our life should look as aesthetically pleasing as theirs. It doesn't have to. Like I said, content creators, this is their literal job. So take some of the pressure off yourself. You don't have to be everything for everyone this holiday season. Do a few things for you and then see how you feel. One of the last bits of advice I want to give you and a bit of a pep talk that I want to give is, as you are enjoying your holiday season with friends and family, know that there's people in your life or people within your circles that are celebrating this holiday season with not some of the people they would have loved to, whether they've lost someone recently, whether they've went through breakups, whether there's divorces, like there's so many people that are going through a very difficult time this holiday season. So I would say going into this, of course, make your own memories, like love on your family and friends and enjoy everything you're doing, but keep in your heart and keep in your mind that this is not everyone's reality. And I would just say, remember to have a bit of kindness and empathy and compassion within this holiday season to know that not everyone has the exact life you do. And there's people around you that are going through a really difficult time this holiday season. And the last bit of pep talk I want to give before I sign off this episode, this is one that sometimes bothers me. Not always, but I think it gets into people's heads a little bit. It's watching everyone make announcements. I find during the holiday season and around New Year's, especially for people my age in their late 20s and 30s, you're going to see a lot of proposals and like just big announcements of people that are going through the check boxes of life, maybe at a different speed than you are. You can be happy for them and still be sad that you don't have that. You can be jealous. You can be envious. You can be all those things. And I would say feel those feelings, but don't make it mean something about you and your self-worth, because it doesn't. Everyone is on a different path and allow them to take the center stage for a moment because they are happy. Just because they're posting and just because it's happening for them doesn't mean it's never going to happen for you. You will have your moment. That part of your life will happen whenever the timing is right for you. Everyone's on their own journey of this life that we're in, and you don't have to be on the same path as anyone else. So don't forget that. Growing up, Christmas has always been one of my favorite times of year, and this year is no different. I'm super excited to head home very soon to spend some time with family and friends during the holidays. I've always loved winter, so the coziness of Christmas and being around people and having some drinks and lots of great food and lots of great music, like I get super excited about it. But it doesn't mean I'm not going into it with my own underlying stresses and insecurities and pressure and expectations and all the bullshit. So I know for me, like I post on social media a lot. So just know that as I'm posting beautiful Christmas trees and lots of pictures of family and friends and posting maybe funny videos because my family is very funny and wild, just know that everyone has their own stuff going on that maybe they don't show everything. So you're no different than the person that's next to you. Everyone's going through their own stuff. And I would say just stay within yourself this holiday season. Be intentional and mindful of what you want, what makes you happy, and stop wasting so much time sitting on the sidelines and watching everyone else's life because they're living their own life and you need to start living yours and enjoying the moments that you have today. Because as I said earlier, time is the only thing we don't get back. I hope that for everyone listening today, you're able to make a lot of great memories, be present in the moments when you're with your family and friends during this season. And I just wish everyone such a great Christmas this year. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to listen to this podcast all the time. I'm excited for what's to come in 2023. So stay tuned. And all in all, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Okay, bye.